That's not what we wanted. Hey, y'all, this is Lewis Herms with ScrewBigGov.com, and there's my buddy Alan Fountain from everywhere.
Hey guys,
Like, let's do a test real quick. Give me a 5-5 if you hear me well, and give Alan a 5-5 if you hear him well. He's not talking.
testing.
Testing, Alan. Testing.
Hello,
Lewis.
Earthlings.
Hello, Earthlings. I got a 5-5 from the baggie. I got a everybody. Okay, Lewis is awesome. Da-da-da. Alan's good. Good. We are ready to go. So today we're doing Two Dudes Chilling. I think this is our sixth episode.
Yep, six. Number
That's
six.
siete. Is that siete?
Siete.
It's our
Siete
siete.
seis.
Siete, seis episodes.
No, seis. It's just seis. Yeah. That would be 66.
That's for you, honey. Episodes.
Episodes.
So, anyways, many of you watched the first draft of Hurricane Hell last night. I got a lot of great feedback, and then I have some tweaks to it, and hopefully I can get the final out tonight is my goal, and then you guys will have things for your viewing pleasure Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because we know the shit hits the fan on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
if not before, you never know.
Yeah. So that's where we are today.
So, silent pause, or
Yeah.
is this where we decide what we're going to?
I stare. This is the stare down.
Just a stare
It's gonna be
down.
45 minutes. Let's see who blinks first.
I got you.
All right, he won.
I'll win this one.
So, yeah, so I guess we talked about the movie a little bit first because that was launched yesterday, the draft. Guys, there's so much more to this movie. I think you'll absolutely love it. I think it only adds about 6, 7 minutes to it, but there's a lot of things I'm adding during the film that I think are very, very impactful, important. And I got some more information today, actually, that just absolutely blows me away.
Yeah, should I read what you told me to write, or should I just? I wanted to share my opinion of it. This is what you told me to write. No, I'm kidding. No.
What the hell's going on here? Oh, yeah.
I'm just messing with you. I was very humbled by watching the movie. It's having gone down to Tampa with you and seeing you work in person and feeling the it's not what you see in person when you're in the presence of that anxiety and you're an empath or just a sensitive person. You feel the energy of the environment. I can't imagine you going from Florida on the tour straight into Asheville and not batting an eye and just jumping to service. It was I'm impressed with that part of it, and what you did with the movie and your ability to be creative and very professional and get the point across and not be biased was very impressive, and I really enjoyed it. I hope other people get to they circulate it and get it out there. It needs to be out there. Start a dialogue.
Yeah, I hope so. It already looks like it's being suppressed. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, generally, if I put a full film on Rumble in the first day, it probably has like, somewhere around 50,000 views, and it could get up to 500,000. Some got up to 2.5 million. This one only got 4,000 views, but yet the ratings on this are through the roof, right? And then on YouTube, it only got 260 views, which is unheard of on YouTube. Even if it gets taken down, I get tens of thousands of views. So clearly, it looks like the baddies knew it was coming. They're going to suppress it. That's right. I have a strategy for next week. So
good.
And so when the final one comes out, I'm hoping tonight or tomorrow, everybody share, please share this because this is being suppressed in a way. There's no way that myself and ScrewBigGov or any entities connected to us are going to get this out there. It's not going to happen.
It's important before the election, I think, also because after the election, they're going to move into different talking points, and these people are going to be overlooked. So it's very important if you care about humanity at all and people learning. It's important that we get out
it's much more bigger than hurricane, by the way. By the way, this is the biggest weather disaster in the history of the United States, and it's not even listed in the top 50. Just so you're curious about what's really going on. So we're being lied to. This movie is heavily suppressed, which is good. That's not a bad thing. That means it is so on target. If it's being suppressed like this, I mean, to have 4,000 views in about 24 hours
Yeah,
after it's just unheard of
yeah,
for the projects I work on.
yeah,
So. But we have a strategy. So, but over the weekend, we're going to need all of you all to forward it as much as you can and share it everywhere you possibly can.
yeah. These
But
people need help.
we have a big strategy starting after the election, after the kind of whatever happens dies down a little bit, and this movie will go viral. I say tens of millions of views would be my prediction on
Yeah,
this one. So y'all that are getting a chance to watch it now, you're way ahead of it.
yeah. So, Lewis, what's on your mind? What can we? What's
Now,
with the
the
election?
problem is saying what's on my mind is all I'm thinking about is getting back upstairs and finishing the
Yeah,
film because
absolutely.
I get really obsessed when I do a project like this,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
But
I get tunnel focus as well. I'm
yes,
like a project taskmaster. I like to go from beginning to end, and I can't focus on other
right,
things else. I
right.
don't know if it's ADD or what you call it,
Yeah,
but
I think people that have severe ADD, which I do, when they learn how to focus it, you can actually be more effective
yeah,
than other people. So the key is using what may be considered a detriment to a positive, I think makes us stronger. These things that we think are curses are really gifts in
absolutely.
writing. In fact, I posted today, which is very, very important, on my X and on my Telegram. What I put, I said, breakthrough is is when you make the decision that your story of triumph is more important than your story of victimhood.
I love that. You know what I learned about ADD when I was diagnosed with ADD, but I learned prior to that is another aspect of it is you can't really calculate the consequences of the risk you're taking, and you're more likely to be a risk taker. I've gotten more things accomplished because, like most people, they won't do it because of fear. They've studied what the risks are, what's involved. Some of the ADD people, they don't do that. They just jump right in and they see the end goal and they focus on it and they achieve it. And that's kind of been my path.
Yeah.
As I can't, had I calculated any of the things that was going on as a whistleblower with the children's issues in Georgia, I don't know that I would have done it. So just by jumping in and not knowing what I was facing, you don't know the obstacles. But if I'd known all that, I don't know that I would have been as gutsy. Or
Well, I don't think if I can count all the whistleblowers that I know of over the last few decades, I could count maybe 30 or 40 total, right? So you're one. So you guys are literally, I have live right here in my living room, a real live whistleblower for real, which I think is extraordinary and impressive. Now,
well, it's,
you interviewed me last time,
yeah,
so I just want to, I'm not going to interview, I want to ask you questions. What's your
it's
take
awesome.
on the election?
Well, I'll tell you that I haven't. I watched some surveys and I kind of looked and observed people's answers. I'm kind of waiting and seeing. I think we've been fully overstimulated when as I'm watching the collective consciousness and the legacy media and what is being seeded out there. I see Trump standing up more to the jabs from the left.
Mm,
Before he was somewhat, I would say passive. And I don't know if it was strategic or what, but I'm seeing him with the garbage truck, all of these things that he is standing up to the comments. Now he's commenting on the gentleman that the comedian who made the comment. I thought when he made the comment, because I'm a researcher, that they were making fun of the IRS being in Puerto Rico. I never thought about the people
right.
from that comment. I thought this is someone who's aware of that wicked IRS in Puerto Rico and was making a slang at it,
Of course.
you know. And so, far as the outcome, we have been prepared for every scenario, and I think that's probably a wise thing. I have a feeling that whatever is decided is already decided. Um, I don't know if there was. Then we go back to the point of, can we have another election and to this election and not do anything about it? That was always a factor. The other factor is, um, does that really matter? Because I really feel like we've been in a movie for the last 4 years, a sting operation movie where they had to get lawful and legal documentation. And what they did is they went an extra step. They already had it. They had every information before. They needed the public to support what they might present from the first go round, plus witness it now. We're seeing the ballot boxes. We're seeing them announcing the 14th Amendment. Their script, I feel, is detailing everything that needs to be out in the public narrative for the sleepers to be prepared. I'm kind of leaning towards the election's going to happen. He's going to win, and we're going to move into a normal dealing with that process. I don't know why there's so much prepare for doom out there. I've kept a positive mind, and I've been sharing with people that I'm having conversations with. Stop, like your wife always says, when you worry, you're praying for that to happen. There's so much fear porn going around. I just stop people right now and say, listen, what do you want your outcome to be? Start focusing on a successful election, visualize it, no problems. And that's what I've been doing. So therefore, I see Donald Trump winning. We're having maybe a little bit of chaos just to show the public, but I don't see the world falling apart, and it don't have to happen before Tuesday. You know,
Yeah, so it's interesting. I was pretty confident about a month ago that they would let the left steal this in order to in order to show the disruption and
yep,
get people to wake up. But it's interesting is I've seen a sea change in the apparatus and the Democratic apparatus where they almost sound like they're conceding the
yeah,
election to Trump already.
yeah,
And he and his team seem hyper confident right now.
yeah,
Now, could that all be part of the movie where the left is saying, and maybe they're being told now, act like we're going to lose. Trump's saying, act like we're going to win. Now that everybody's shocked and they're like, okay, now the real wake up is going to happen. I don't know. The reality is it's all speculation at this point. I was reviewing the numbers though from November 20th on election day, and I was blown away at the percentage, the difference in percentage. Where Trump was literally winning by 10% at 3 a.m.
yeah,
in a couple swing states, and then they shut it down, and he lost those 5 or 6 swing states the next morning
yeah.
when everybody woke up. Um, so it is going to be very interesting. I'm actually very excited about election day
Yeah,
because I don't have a clue what's going to happen.
yeah. I don't either. What I've been doing is what people have wanted to happen for is the revenge, witnessing the revenge, the arrest, and all of that stuff. There's I come from a practical ability to link people together, people that have been in my past orbit, that the Q post link them being adjacent to what we would consider players in they might be listed as neutral, but they're definitely players that might have been close to YouTube or 23andMe, and I'm not seeing any consequences to people that, unless they've already navigated or they're not compromised, I'm not seeing any consequences. Their riches are still intact, and they seem to be more empowered that have been around Kamala and Obama than what I would suspect. And that shocked me. I sometimes wonder how much are the left going to win for part of this movie thing? Or that's been the confusing part for me. And that's why I'm focusing on what I want to see happen and manifesting and putting that collective energy out there. I know the power of consciousness.
Yes.
And all of my studying recently in the esoteric and about manifesting, whether we have I'm going to go out there and be a little esoteric there. Whether we have the ability to manipulate timelines, if there are parallel timelines, if we're living in this simulation holographic, we have the ability to affect that experience. That's why I'm visualizing Trump winning, there being peace, a little bit of chaos. But I've also seen uh, situations that they've prepared us for every possible scenario. And I don't know if that is because they don't fully know the outcome yet based on what's in the arsenal of the deep state. We know we were making chess moves based on what risks were still at present. We were expecting some calamity to cities. There was all these rumors about that they may have to take out some of the key points that were satanic. We might see attacks at locations where there were a history of satanic, institutions, etc. So having this stuff seeded out there, I don't know if that was like you and other people have said, that dispels we take away their power once we put their plan out there. So we put so many plans out there that maybe that was to prevent them from happening and ruining their timeline for that, that maybe we could actually have mitigated a lot of these adverse effects.
Yeah.
That's coming from a consciousness perspective.
So somebody's running a drone fly
I
because
know. I'm saying that. Yeah.
it keeps hitting me and keeps hitting Alan.
I know.
So who's got the drone
You've
fly?
seen the drone fly
Yes.
lately, haven't you?
Or does that mean we're clones? I mean, it means something, right?
No.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
means that we left the door open,
It's right. The
and
door's open.
and the three-letter agency is back there with the remote control. Let's piss him off.
Remote control drone.
Let's piss him off.
So it's interesting because in regards to the election, I've or the outcome of our country and the world, I've always known the outcome.
Yeah.
And I believe where we're going to end up is just absolutely incredible. I think we're going to be so excited. It's going to be amazing. What I don't know is the exact timeline, and I don't know the journey to get there. So then I go back to what I've always said is, but what do I know? Okay, I know that we the people are the plan.
Yep.
Right. And I know that for me personally, there's specific things that I need to do based on my connection to Almighty.
Yeah.
And therefore I just do those.
Yeah.
And I'm literally just a soldier.
Yeah.
In this army of we the people trying to do the tasks that I think are assigned to me directly from God.
Yeah.
But the outcome I think is extraordinary. So when somebody says who's going to win, is it Trump? Is it Kamala? Is it on election day? Is it after election day?
Yeah.
Are there 14 cities going to burn down or not? I don't see how there's not going to be riots in the streets.
Yeah,
I just don't see it based on either outcome. But how amazing would it be if I was wrong about that?
You might have been right in that time that you had the impression or the instinct, and we could have done an action that counteracted that timeline, or that we could have mitigated that situation. What you're talking about, your spiritual journey and your listening to God. I had a conversation with a peer yesterday where I recounted to him. I've had some very poignant experiences where I felt like it was God talking to me. And in 2019,
sorry, I'm just looking at the making sure the battery's charging. You.
Excellent. So in 2019, it's when I was writing that article on 11/11, and I was living in Asheville. This thing came to me. It said a jubilee is coming. I didn't know what a friggin' jubilee was. I thought it was a flavor of a jam or whatever. And here we have Trump coming out now talking about the golden age. He's wearing a gold necktie. He's got Make America Great in gold on his black hat. These are things that was seeded to me early in 2017, 18, where the people that came into my life mysteriously that I called, I don't like angels, walk-in angels that were communicating with me, checking telepathy. I know this sounds crazy, but this is what they told me back then. And all the sources were telling me this is what is coming. And we kept expecting it sooner, 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 sooner. So there's a lot of people, and when Trump is now doing that in public, saying the golden age, that's what the information that we had early in this launch when we were being prepared. And I was getting all these sources giving me information for whatever reason. So I see great things coming. And I'm hoping that, as you said, these visions of the 14 cities, et cetera, that by talking about it, we had the experience and the timeline that interrupted that having to happen. I'm hoping that's what the case is. I'm hoping the fact that we talked about it in that timeline or that situation that mitigated it, and I'm feeling optimistic right now.
I am too. I
You
am.
know,
I am too. So again, the outcome I think is very positive. I just don't know what we have to do to get through that. So that's why I would say a couple things is everybody make sure you're connected, make sure
yep,
you're grounded, connected to the divine.
yep,
In my opinion, I think God is the way.
yep,
That's me. Most people know that. Um, I would say make sure you keep your mind open and your heart open,
yeah,
right? And do something. Absolutely, just do something, whatever that something is to you that you think adds value to the universe, do that.
yeah. One thing that I learned and as being of service, volunteering, doing whatever, but I just went and laid in the park and got grounded. There's more information coming out about the true technologies and how that uh, grounding changes your red blood cells and energizes your body. The Schumann resonance. I haven't slept in 2 days. I had a hard time the last 2 days. It was at a power 32. That's 5 times the normal standard frequency of 7.83 hertz of the energy field surrounding Earth. I don't know if anybody else had trouble sleeping the last few days, but I'm very sensitive to energy. So I know all of these things. If people will go out and just ground, do things that are that we know that can really benefit the human body, the experience, the psyche, what you say to yourself is very important. And I've had to check myself and also pop a rubber band on people that are trying to be negative because I think it's very important to stop that fear porn train. And I know a lot of people are transmuting this karma and this energy right now, but staying positive is the key thing.
Well, remember our last episode was about another set of date predictions
Yeah,
that they were predicting this doom and gloom situation, and another ones were predicting this wonderful jubilee,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. That date just passed.
yeah.
Again,
That's what I'm saying.
another date that gets all the attention,
My, yeah,
another date that not everybody, but many people forward, another date that gets all the clicks and
I'm
all
glad you're saying that right now.
amazing attention, and yet it passes again as we predicted last Thursday.
There's people I respect in our orbit that are doing that, and I give them, even though it creates fear and unnecessary angst, I'm hoping that they have a higher purpose. Who knows if it's necessary in order to keep the power on our side with uh with clicks. Maybe we need them on our side to keep drowning out the media. I'm not going to judge for it, but this is where it's important that we take control of our own psyche. But you're right; these dates are passing. But I do notice a lot of people will lead you to their private website that you need a membership or.
Yeah,
So I know that some people can have integrity in this business, full integrity, and I feel like you do, which I know I do because I'm hungry. For the
yeah,
big,
sure,
from the big,
right.
I'm hungry. It's like from
We're
the big picture of life. So I know that's correlated with integrity. Everyone that I know that is flush with cash, they have a different. I wish I could be less and have less integrity.
no, you don't.
Well, run over the course of life, it'll pay off.
Exactly. Just
But
just remember, and I say
yeah.
this to everybody, it's because I try to quantify life like this. Let's look at life as a million years,
Okay.
not the
Yeah.
100 years that we're.
Hey, are you a
I
Scientologist?
know, right?
They have a 1 billion-year contract,
They
from
have
what
a
I understand.
billion. This is a billion.
A billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's look at this as a million years.
Yeah.
If our and I only do that because I think it's actually infinite, but we have to quantify it
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
number, right? So if
Yeah.
we look at it in a million years, let's say we're on this planet 100,
Yeah.
right? So what if our rewards are not even
In
on
this
in
period.
this period
Yeah.
of time? What if it's after? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I think
I agree with
what
you.
matters is we do the best we
Yeah.
possibly can for humanity
Yeah.
while we're
Yeah. Yeah.
here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
then
agree.
let the cards fall where they will.
Yeah, I agree because even though I'm using some of these uh, people as part of my experimental, I don't know what the last phases of their life is going to be. And, it may look good and rosy right now. Everything could change. The energy could change. Their life could change. Everything could flip in the opposite direction. I've always been true to myself. Whenever I made changes, things that I like about myself, I stuck to it. And I always felt that for my higher self, that it was better to do that in the long run. Even though I jokingly say that otherwise, I think that I sleep well at night when I do sleep, not having any of that stuff on my conscience. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
in
I
the long
think it's
run,
important. The reality is, I know people in chat are kind of mentioning this too, is like why would Lewis mention that there might be possible riots? Well, it's not fear porn.
it's
This,
just
this is more this
psychological.
is more preparation and just logical based on
Yeah,
the scenarios that could happen. I mean, if Kamala were to win, I always equate it, well, when like if the Phillies win the I'm not the Phillies, the Eagles were win the Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl
they've shown
or
that in
like the World Series. Yeah,
Philadelphia they
yeah,
riot. They riot for a win. So
yeah. It's going to kinetic energy is so
right.
high right
And if
now.
and if they lose, right,
Yeah,
they can activate Antifa and riot for a
yeah,
loss. So I'm just saying that we should be aware.
yep.
I'm definitely
You're
not
not
saying I'm not
forecasting it or
saying
predicting
fear
it.
it
Yeah,
and don't. I'm definitely not trying to put out
yeah,
fear, but that's just more of an awareness.
yeah, yeah,
And then in the same token, I'll say something like, make sure that you keep your frequency as high as
yep,
possible,
yeah,
right? And manifest as I have the outcome.
yep,
And the outcome is glorious.
yep,
I'm not in control of the journey though, and I believe that's something I learned a long time ago when I was focused on every little portion of the journey.
yeah,
I had no enjoyment
yeah,
whatsoever. It took me longer to get to
yeah,
wherever I needed to go. And
yeah,
sometimes I ended up in a place where I wasn't divinely supposed to be.
yeah. Easily, yeah,
Now, when I just focus on the outcome in the process, the journey is
yeah,
amazing because I experience things I've never experienced before.
yeah,
Um, and I don't think we can control the journey, but it's not going to be very epic if you
yeah.
do.
There's people out there that um, although this movie is going on over here, their life on a daily basis is going on. They're going to the park, they're going to the movies, they're not turning on the TV, they're not aware. They're aware there's an election, they know there's some stuff, and they're happy. They're out there going to the gym, bodybuilding, doing all these things, having a beautiful life, and clueless. So that goes to show a lot of the importance of where you set your mind and the reality you create for yourself. But also, there's a lot of us, we knew that the 100 monkey effect was necessary in consciousness in order to do it. So I'm sure that we had to uh, see consciousness to deliver an end result and waking people up. And that's basically what this is. This is like a consciousness war, consciousness information war. And I think it was necessary to get the truth out there, to wake people up, and that's happened. We can see how people now look at things differently than they did 4 years ago, 6 years ago. You couldn't even say in my article I wrote the word Christ consciousness. I was treated like a heretic, for
Right.
using that word. You
It's
know,
funny you say that because I was thinking when you were saying the words grounding and how effective grounding
yeah,
is, just a couple of years ago within this movement, somebody tried actually multiple people tried to scold me for saying the word grounding as for some reason it wasn't Christian.
yep, yep,
And I'm like, well, I prefer to be Christ-like,
like, yeah,
not Christian,
yeah,
because and sorry, Christians, you
yeah,
can be. I mean, I consider myself a Christian, but I'm not indoctrinated.
yeah,
Okay, I
identify,
have an open mind
yeah,
and I believe we should be Christ-like. But here's why this is so important. It's because did God not create the earth,
yep,
the
absolutely,
trees and
yeah,
the grass and all the wonderful thing,
yeah,
right?
the animals,
So if
everything,
scientifically you feel better or emotionally you feel better when you take your shoes off or lay in the grass That's a God thing.
That's not a.
That's not some wacky,
No.
uh, freaky spiritual woo-woo thing. That's a God thing. And the fact that some Christians try to separate that
Yeah.
just absolutely blows me away, because those are the same people that are indoctrinated
Yeah.
by the person standing behind the pulpit
Yeah.
on stage in
Yeah.
front of them, telling them what to think instead of saying, you need to think for yourselves.
Well, we learned. I looked up at. I was curious what Mark Taylor was lately. The guy who came out with the Trump prophecies, and he seeded consciousness with letting us know that the 501c3 churches, is it 501c3
Yes.
churches, were a covenant with Baal. He got that out there earlier, and it helped people to start realizing that the churches were in alignment with that Bilderberg corporate dynamic of institutions, and some of the secret societies were seated within that as well. And so that's where people they did a very good job in indoctrinating the public of what was acceptable spiritually or religious, not what is people being in alignment with their own authentic self. You're in alignment with your authentic self. You and your pineal gland is clear. You have your own connection with God, and if you just deliver and present with that, you're in God's grace. And that's kind of been my journey. And we have a lot of. I've noticed that a lot of far as spirituality and religion is going. I've been on both sides, liberal, conservative, moderate, and I see there's a lot of judgment on our side as well, judging people coming from their, whether it's religion, we've kind of been a little judgmental on this side, and I'm hoping that we get to the point where I want to start having some honest conversations about the commonalities we have, and more unity in the future.
Well, I think it is important to understand that black and white is a Freemason construct
Yep.
on purpose.
Yep.
And like I say often, there's a hue of colors in the middle where the truth lies.
Yeah.
But we tend to go to the black or tend to go to the white, right? Immediately. And it's that division is intentional.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is definitely a hue
There
of
is.
colors in the middle. And that's the conversation. That's sort of the fun conversation we'll have. Because if we were aligned exactly on every single subject, I think I'd slit my throat, because this would be the most
That would be boring.
planet ever. I like having intellectual conversations where there's some debate and there's some go back and forth, right?
But some grace in there.
Yes, yes, and that's the hue of colors in the
Yeah,
middle. If
yeah.
anybody watches the documentary Hurricane Hell that I just put out, we try to come from a very
Yeah.
authentic center point.
Yeah.
Now it leaned one direction, but it leaned one direction based on facts
Yeah.
that we kept finding over and over and over and over, not based on the intent when we went in.
Yeah.
I can tell you, which is really beautiful. I'm not going to say who they are, but there's liberals in the film, and there's a few liberals on the ground that we were working with that were thoroughly engaged in the
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
with all of us
Yeah.
on just discovering what the truth was.
Yeah. See, that's what having fully lived lives on both sides, and moderate, left, right. And then when I say left or right, my positions on the world have never changed. Those movements have changed and pivoted directions. But I find that humanity has more in common, and a lot of that division. But you were talking about the colors. You talked about gray. You brought up the gray and gray hats, etc. I saw that term used practically in one of my espionage series that I'm watching, and they referred this is a gray mission. And I realized what it means is the grays are the way it was used in this context was that we got to do a procedure and nobody can take accountability for it. So it's a gray hat move. It's got to happen. It's going to be covered up. It's off the books. And I thought, well, maybe that's another form of a gray hat. Having to navigate its way into this arena.
I feel maybe it's unfortunate. I don't feel this war that we're in is completely won with just light.
Yeah.
I think there has to be some very gray
Yeah.
activity in order to take down the evil. You have to,
Yep.
I think you have to play in the realm a little bit in
Yeah.
order to do that. So, for example, when I did the film Cages,
Yeah.
right, I had to step in the mind of the evildoers. In fact, if anybody watches that film Cages, you'll notice that we tell it from the perspective of the bad
Yep.
guys. So you
That's
have to
right.
understand evil. It's not a
Yeah.
comfortable place to be
Yeah.
and learn. But if you can be gray and get in there and dig in
Yeah.
and understand where they're coming from, then you could hit them where it has to. Like for example, I understand that you know that there is, let's say, spiritual word that says shall I
Absolutely.
wouldn't even blink an eye.
You
My
understand
wife even
principles.
my wife even says I have that in my character.
Yeah.
Like if I saw somebody doing something that was downright evil,
Yeah.
I would end them
Yeah.
and I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
Does that make me evil? No. Does it make me white? Maybe not, but it definitely puts me in the gray area. I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I'm honest and authentic
Yeah.
about that. That would probably put me in the gray area, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's important. But I kind of was glad that I was able to get a context for that gray. I mean, I can see where there's white hat, black hat, gray hat,
Hmm.
in this movement, and it's a necessity. There's evil out
I
there.
think it is. And
Yeah.
gray doesn't mean neutral, by the way.
No,
Gray just means,
off the books, I'll say.
yeah, gray just means
Off. We're not talking about
they're
it.
gonna, they will do things that make you feel very uncomfortable, but you're very happy with the outcome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really what it comes
yeah,
down
yeah.
to.
When you look at the bigger picture, yeah,
So
yeah,
I have my chat up here. That's why I'm playing with my
yeah,
phone, guys. Um, now I have to get back to my film, but that being said,
yeah,
if I can get back in, my phone is going crazy. It tends to do this if I take 45 minutes off of anything.
yeah.
Sorry. So I'm trying to get back to my chat and I can't get back to it because I have so many text
Can we
messages
pull it up for you?
coming in.
Your
It just
your
came
text
through.
chat or your
Yeah, my no, my regular text messages were coming in, so it was hiding my chat.
got it.
So what I want to do is here. Everybody see this nice cup? I wonder if my buddy that gave it to me is watching.
The light the
And
light got a little dimmer the closer you get. That's interesting.
there you
It's
go.
it's reflecting onto the screen. Yeah.
Says want a friend or something. Oh, is or getting. Oh, the best way to get a friend, I think, is what did it say?
Let's see.
Want a friend in Washington. Oh, get a dog.
Yeah,
Harry S. Truman.
I love that.
Sorry,
That's awesome.
Tom gave that to me.
I love
So
that.
speaking of dog, I just said dog, and big boy back here,
Reggie.
Reggie. Let's see if he'll do this. Hey, Reg, you're sleeping back here. Gotta wake you up, buddy. Come, get it over here,
Over here,
Reggie.
Reggie. Over
Over
here.
here, Reggie. Here, come. There's
Good
the
boy.
there's the big Reg. Okay, guys, you got a whole 2 seconds of Reggie right there.
He's a good boy.
So let's close this
You
out
got it.
today. Anything else you want to cover?
Nope. Keep a positive attitude. Visualize what the outcome you want for the election. Be prepared for any scenario, but realize a lot of that stuff could be clickbait.
Yeah,
And I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic too,
Yeah.
and just know we've got this, right? Just manifest your destiny, your destiny. Pray. You can
Yeah.
manifest it through prayer, by
Yeah.
the way. I know it seems so sacrilegious, but it's not. You can manifest everything through
Yep.
prayer. Get in touch with God, your friends, your family, your neighbors.
Yep.
Reach
That's what
out
I've
to
been
your
doing.
neighbors, and just know that this is going to be awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm probably going to relaunch the documentary tomorrow. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, y'all could watch that. And then Tuesday, Robert and I are doing a special election coverage, probably an all-day event. Oh,
Wow.
I'm already tired thinking
Yeah.
about it.
That'll be good.
You all good?
I'm all good.
Okay.
Everybody.
This is Dapper Allen. You can tell. I don't know if you can see his hat. There you go. Is that awesome?
Uh, my houndstooth hat. Well, it's fall.
You are so fashion
Oh,
conscious.
you're